give in to this cancer of radical democratization, which sweeps everything beyond. So where does the economy exist? Think of the favelas. I think Bruce is absolutely right. The future of the economy needs to be understood as favelas, in metaphorical terms. The favelas, which don't only exist in Rio, but many 21st century towns or cities, megalopolises, Mexico City and so on and so forth, exist outside traditional law, outside the traditional state. They are run by gangs, and in another sense they are flat. I think that's the future of the internet. I think the low end of culture will become a vast favela. Of all the garbage that exists will go on the internet. The internet has essentially destroyed digital value. In that sense, Chris Anderson's right. Everything is free because that's all it's worth. And when you do away with editors, it's worth even less than free. You see it, for example, with e-learning. You're going to see the lowest forms, the least able forms of e-learning, of e-commerce, all go onto the internet. A lot of people talk about the developing world and the internet. One of my great fears is not that the developing world won't have the internet, that it will have the internet. That the internet, in this centralized educational, commercial, political, economic institution, will come to recolonize the poor world. You can already see it with Google. You can already see Google's control of the search market in places like Italy and Spain being at 90%. So what about the rest of the city? The favelas are gone, for better or worse. They are a reality. But what about those places which still maintain law and order? Where will culture maintain its value? And I think here we need to remind ourselves that with the commodification of the digital, as the digital no longer has any value, so the thing that will increasingly have value is the physical. Are events like this. Museums, then, are, in my view, and this is, I think, I'm not entirely sure where Bruce stands on this, but this is, I think, where I differ with him. I think museums have to stick to their guns because they are best positioned as the non-favelas of the future. They are the ones still controlling physical product. So my advice to museum people, or for that matter, people in the book business, or the record business, or the movie business, is to embrace the physical, not to be deluded by the great seduction of the digital. Don't believe that the future of the museum is online. It may be online, but none of you will have jobs. Because there's no value to that, because you won't be able to charge anyone, and eventually even the governments will wake up and realize that online stuff is garbage. So it's going to require people to be counterintuitive in what Bruce calls the 20 teens, in this grey zone, in this misty netherland between the early digital age and a more mature age, when we get beyond this turbulent, catastrophic teenage age. Think that we need to remind ourselves that the physical will always have value. It's not going away. And as things become more and more digitalized, as everything gets given away on the internet, as we indeed become more and more digitally connected in social, cultural terms, so the only thing left of value, the only thing left in this peculiar world where the favelas will exist side by side with the wealthier neighborhoods, the Rios of the future, which is the world of the future. The only thing that people who care about culture, who care about curation, who understand that it takes years to write books, or find symphonies, or songs, or make movies, or do interesting creative conceptual art. The only way in which that world will be saved from the Goths will be to maintain the value not only of your intellectual curatorial skills, but also of those places, those meccas, museums, bookstores, movie theaters, anything where the physical can be embraced and cherished, because the children of the digital natives as Bruce has quite rightly said, will re-embrace the physical. And let's not hope it's like with the economic crisis, where suddenly everyone's rediscovering the railroads in America, and meanwhile everyone turns around and understands that the railroads got destroyed 70 years ago. Let's hope that we can maintain that light, so that the next generation that can see sense will have something to inherit. Thank you.